Well, here we are again, another episode of today as we continue learning our factors. I'm going to show you how you can break down an 8 using the distributive property. It can be a 4 and a 4. It can be a 5 and a 3. There's lots of different ways we can break that down, but what you want to do is pick one that's going to be useful to you. If you think of it as a 4 and a 4, then remember that the 4s are just a 2 and a 2. I think that'll help you through this. Take it away with the 8s.
Okay, so eights are the last factor we need to work with, multiplying by eights. And I wanted to write some stuff up here just to review. Again, we're talking about using the distributive property, breaking apart those bigger numbers into smaller numbers. So like when we did 3, you could think of it as a 2 plus a 1. And when we did the 4, we thought of it as a 2 plus a 2. And when we did 7, we thought of it as a 5 plus a 2, because it's easy to count by 5s, easy to count by 2s. Well, with the number 8, you have a lot of options. An 8 you can think of as a 4 and a 4. Or you could think of it as a 2 plus a 2 plus a 2 plus a 2. So all you have to do is multiply whatever it is times 2, and then again and again and again. You could also break it into something, maybe you want to do a 5 plus a 3. Maybe that helps. So let's take a look in the book on page 134 at this example. At a school fun fair, students try to toss a table tennis ball into a bowl. Have you ever seen this game at the fair? You try to win a goldfish. You got to get the ball to land in the goldfish bowl. So I don't see the goldfish, but I think that's the point of this game too. There are 8 bowls in each row and 8 rows of bowls. So how many bowls are there? Well, what they did was they took this and they drew it out with their counters and made an array. And this array would be 8 on this side and 8 across the top. So we're looking at 8 times 8. Now you can break that 8 apart into groups of 2, as they did here. You could also break it into, this is still 8 and 8, 2 groups of 4, whichever way you want to look at it. So if you do it like this, 2 times 8, well, that's the same as 8 times 2, so that's 16. And then you just add all these 16s together and you get 64. Or if you want to work on it like this, you can do 4 groups of 8 is 32, and another 4 groups of 8 is 32, and that is also 64. If you really want to take your time, you could draw it and then count every one of them. That's going to take you a long time, but that's another way to do it. Let's look at the convince me. How does knowing 5 times 8 equals 40 help you find 8 times 8? Well, if you know 5 times 8 is 40, we're trying to figure out 8 times 8, so we're going to need 3 more. So then we got to figure out 3 times 8. And if we figure that up, it is 24. And then we're going to add those 2 together, and we will get 64. So if you know a big chunk of the problem already, 8 times 8, if you already know 5 times 8, you just have to figure out 3 more 8s and add that onto it. Let's look over here at the guided practice. Do you understand? Do you understand? Multiply 8 times 3. Write and solve a multiplication equation. Kind of did that already. 8 times 3. And you can think of that like we did before, where it would be, 8 times 2 plus 8 times 1. I'm going to break that 3 apart into a 2 and a 1. So that's 16 plus 8. However you do it, it equals 24. Multiply 5 times 8. Well, they did that right here. 5 times 8 equals 40. Write a multiplication equation. Multiply 8 times 1. Write and solve a multiplication equation. 8 times 1, which is 8 groups of 1, which is 8 bowls with 1 piece of ice in them, I guess. We'll call 1 ping pong ball. So that's just going to be 8 balls. All right, over here. Do you know how? These are multiplication facts to practice. 8 times 7, that's going to be 56. 8 times 4, 32. 6 times 8 is going to be 48. 10 times 8, all you got to do is put the 8 and add a 0 because it's 8 tens. 9 times 8, if you do the nines trick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Put that finger down. I got 7 and 2, so it's 72. And 8 times 3 we've done here and we did there. It's 24. All right, so here's a little trick to help you work with the 8s. You can break them apart into smaller bits. I think that'll help you out. However you want to do it. Break them into 4 groups of 2, 2 groups of 4, break it into a 5 and a 3. You could do a 7 and a 1 if you're really good with your 7s. I don't know if that would help, but however you want to do it, do what you need to do to get those 8s.